first ever meeting between 17th ranked Boise State and 24th ranked Oklahoma State. Adam Amin, Rod Gilmore, Quint Kesnick. Rod, we have a very important game with major implications today.
Well, this is the toughest game on Boise State's schedule. The thought is, look, if they win this game and win out, they are in the driver's seat for a New Year's Six game. And Brian Harsin, their head coach, said to us, he's not shying away from it. Boise State was built on games like this, he said.
Q, it's one of the tougher atmospheres that Brett Rypien is going to have to deal with, and this is going to be a very difficult environment to deal with today.
If you want to slay the dragon, you got to go in the dragon's lair. It's hot, it's loud, it's claustrophobic more than anything else. The fans are like 5 feet away from this Boise team, hovering, breathing on them, potentially even heckling. This is more like arena football, Adam.
Well, Boise State's going to get the ball first. Oklahoma State won the toss and deferred. The paddle people are ready to go, and so are we. Alexander Madison from the goal line. And he gets chopped down shy of the 20. Amen Ogbongbemiga with the stop. Back-to-back 300-yard passing games to start the season, tied with Kellen Moore for the most 300-yard games in Boise State history, from the shadow of his uncle to one of the top quarterbacks in Boise history.
Well, and he's really stepped up his game. You know, last year was a bit inconsistent. You watch him now, and he is much more confident. He's throwing the deep ball much better than he ever has before.
Brett Rypien, the nephew of the two-time Super Bowl champion Mark Rypien. Jet sweep to start the day with John Hightower, who can absolutely fly. He picks up 8 on first down.
You know, Adam, this game for Boise State and its fans has been on the radar since the summer.
Yep.
You know, and players and coaches have talked about the need that they had to focus the first couple of weeks because everyone was looking ahead to this week.
Incomplete on the slant, looking for C.T. Thomas, and that'll bring up the first third down of the day. You said since the summer?
Yeah.
I would even argue that when this game was put on the calendar in 2013, when it was agreed upon by the two schools, I think maybe that's when it got circled too, pal. I'd argue that. We got a good one today. 3rd down and 2 for Boise State. Cowboys bring a blitz. Rypien hit hard as he finds A.J. Richardson for the first down.
Just a quick 3-step drop and a slant route to A.J. Richardson, 200-pound receiver. And you saw the accuracy and the touch by Rypien.
Despite that pressure in his face. Madison spins away from Jordan Brailford and works his way out to the 36-yard line. And Brett Rypien with an incompletion to bring up 3rd down and 4 on the opening series of the game. One of 3 top 25 matchups today: LSU, Auburn, TCU, and Ohio State. Both of these teams have put up video game numbers in their first 2 games. We'll see Taylor Cornelius making his 3rd career start today at quarterback for Oklahoma State, going up against Brian Harsin's veteran, Brett Rypien, who faces his 2nd 3rd down of the day. Adam Amin, Rod Gilmore, Quint Kesnick, glad you're with us for this top 25 contest from Stillwater. Rypien to the flat, incomplete for Robert Mahone. Underthrown ball, and Boise State will have to punt. Brett Rypien in his 39th career start. This is going to be a tough atmosphere in which to play as these two programs meet for the first time, and it happens to be a top 25 matchup. Dylan Stoner back to return a Quinn Skillen punt. Fair catch at the 27-yard line. We're 2 minutes in. And with that, Boise State, Oklahoma State, they set this matchup up in 2013, and both schools, both fan bases have been waiting for it, and it's a high leverage game today.
You know how you get that coach speak from the coaches? Not a big game. Not Brian Harsin of Boise State did not even pretend.
No.
He said, this is a big game. It's important. And he said, this is the kind of game that Boise State was built on. And so he told his players, embrace it and seize the opportunity like teams of the past have.
Taylor Cornelius starts from the 28-yard line, and it's Justice Hill, the excellent running back, for a yard. Let's go down to Q.
Big news for Boise's defense. Tyler Horton, their best cornerback and one of the best in the conference, did not make the trip. He's out with a leg injury. They'll miss him on the outside. They'll also miss his leadership. Jalen Walker, 15 in white, makes the start.
This will be the second career start for Jalen Walker. He started the Las Vegas Bowl against Oregon. 3rd down and 9 for Taylor Cornelius. Blitz from the Broncos. Cornelius launches, and it's incomplete. Looking for Tyron Johnson. What a juxtaposition of quarterbacks we have in this game.
Yeah, someone who has played an awful lot versus someone who is getting reacquainted with the notion of being a starting quarterback. We'll talk more about that, but you know, let's not forget, this is a big game for Oklahoma State.
Very.
You look at their schedule. A win today really sets them up for a great start and gives them confidence in the race in the Big 12. They could get to 7-0, 8-0, maybe even 9-0 with a win here today.
Before they have to play Oklahoma in November. Matt Hockett with a shanked punt, and Boise State will have excellent field position to start its second series. Zach Seiner still not healthy. It's Hockett out there punting away. And a top 25 matchup in Stillwater. Boise State going into a very difficult environment here at Boone Pickens Stadium in a high leverage top 25 contest. Just a 3-man rush. So underneath, another tight end grab. Chase Blakely will take us to the end of the first quarter. These are two of the highest scoring teams over the last decade in college football. Of course we would be scoreless through one. Top 25 in Stillwater. Come on back.
How about the way Haskins has been playing for Ohio State? That's the way that Rypien would like to play today. He has not thrown the ball deep down the field yet. He's really been a master of the short pass.
And 2nd and medium here. Whip into the sideline, and it is ruled a catch. Excellent extension by Sean Modster for the first down to the 31.
Yeah, make sure his foot is in bounds. You see that left foot. He had control over it. It's a good catch.
This is a guy who had some drop issues last year. Excellent job to secure and get the foot down. He's really come on in this last 7 or 8 games. Heat coming from Oklahoma State. One-on-one downfield. Diving attempt by Hightower. Touchdown, Boise State. Quickly becoming a Rypien favorite.
Yeah, Hightower with great speed. The JC transfer beats the best corner for Oklahoma State, A.J. Green. And the key to that, great protection and giving your receiver a chance to make the play. Rypien put this ball up and allowed Hightower to run underneath it, but it all goes back to protection. Oklahoma State brought pressure. Boise State picked it up. And Hightower with a beautiful diving catch.
Hogarth for the extra point. First year at Boise State after 2 years at Hines Community College in Mississippi. John Hightower becoming a downfield threat for Boise.
All those short passes, setting things up, and when you go man-to-man coverage, you better be able to run with Hightower or this happens.
Already 3 touchdowns in 3 games for John Hightower.
Yeah, and this is the blitz. Oklahoma State brings 6, and the key to this whole play is protection. Boise State picks it up. They keep it back in to help out with protection. Rypien has plenty of time. All 6 rushers are picked up. You get the single coverage. You give your receiver a chance. It's 6.
Joel Velasquez kicks away for Boise State.
All right, Adam.
Taylor Cornelius from the 25 for Oklahoma State trying to respond. Justice Hill. A nice first down run of 5.
Well, they have to get Cornelius comfortable. And he's 1 of 5. And he said this is only his 3rd start.
Under pressure. Good job by Cornelius to get away from it.
Cornelius right now being faced with a new scenario here, trailing at home, only his 3rd start of his career. I think the Cowboys' best offensive player, though, is Justice Hill. And he has got to have an impact in this game. 15 to 20 touches, whether it's the run game or the short passing game. 5 in orange has got to be heard from.
Just 9 carries a week ago against South Alabama.
He is an excellent receiver out of the backfield.
Riding that read, and Cornelius with the keep and the first down. Slipped the tackle of Jalen Walker, the backup corner who's getting the start today.
Look, and I think Boise State will say, if they want to run zone read and have Cornelius carry the ball 10, 15 times, they're okay with that.
This time he'll dump it off for J.D. King. And King slipping tackles, gets close to the sticks near midfield.
What Oklahoma State needs out of Cornelius is to complete the short passes he needs to and to distribute the ball, to give guys like King a chance to make a play.
Now he's going to take a shot downfield, and he's got Tylan Wallace. First and goal, Oklahoma State on the first big play of the day for 43.
How about the play call? And your quarterback is struggling. He hasn't completed too many passes, yet you give him a chance to just sort of air it out. And he finds Wallace. Wallace runs underneath it. He gave him a chance to make the catch, and he did.
He had 39 yards passing before that strike for 43. To the edge, Hill. To the end zone, Justice Hill. Got past DeAndre Pierce and muscled home.
Speed and quickness, but watch the ability to run through tackles. A good back has to make that guy miss one-on-one, and he made Pierce miss. Nothing but orange end zone in front of him, and Justice Hill telling everybody, all rise.
You were sitting on that one for a while, big man. I know it. Mike Gundy's offense responds. 7 up in Stillwater. Justice Hill going home. 30-year anniversary of one of the greatest that ever did it. Barry Sanders, his Heisman Trophy in 1988. Justice Hill's dad, Derek, went to Oklahoma State as well. He was in the same Bible study group as Barry Sanders. Justice actually wanted Barry's number 21 originally, but of course, no one's touching that number 21. That's a retired number.
You know, he's got a little Barry Sanders in him. You saw that quickness and that ability to get to the edge and that speed, but nobody's Barry Sanders.
And nobody broke tackles like Barry Sanders either. Trust me, I'm a Bears fan. I grew up watching him annihilate every defense I watched on TV growing up. Alexander Madison with an opportunity. Shy of the 25. And here come the paddle people again as the Boise State offense comes out. That noise. This is my first trip to Stillwater. That noise of the paddle people. It's a very anticipatory noise. Andrew Van Buren getting the carry. There's Bundage again with a tackle for loss.
Adam, I want to take you back to that last drive because we saw the confidence grow in Cornelius, and it was all set up with this great pass out to Wallace. And that followed or set up the run by Justice Hill. So the confidence in the quarterback, the inexperienced quarterback, we got that on that last drive. We'll watch him his next series out and see what happens. But now he looks like he's ready to rock and roll.
Rypien lost the football. That ball was loose inside the 15 as Jordan Brailford absolutely barreled through Brett Rypien. It'll stay with Boise State, recovered by John Molchon, the left guard.
Yeah, nothing fancy here. This is just a win on the outside. Pass rush said, you've got Brailford, and we've seen him get in there a couple times, and he's just great. He beats Preciado one-on-one. I mean, just speed and quickness, and you can see that ball comes out. Arm was not going forward.
Preciado is the only new starter. They returned 4 out of 5, but that right tackle from our film study, Rod, I thought he's been vulnerable off the edge.
Well, I think Brailford would agree with you.
And they'll keep it on the ground with Madison. Calvin Bundage closes out the drive. 5 tackles already.
You see how that series, we saw Oklahoma State change its philosophy. Actually, the last 2. I mean, the opening series, they were very soft. They were playing zone coverage, not pressuring. Last 2 series, they've opened it up. They've run some stunts, they've run some blitzes, they've played some man coverage, and they've just disrupted the timing for Rypien.
All a hallmark of what you expect from a Jim Knowles defense.
Yep, exactly.
Quinn Skillen will punt away to Dylan Stoner. Pressure, and it's blocked! Amen Ogbongbemiga, along with Jarek Bernard.
Hey, Quint, before the game, we were timing the punter. And Boise State's punters were consistently getting the ball off slow, over 2 seconds. This doesn't surprise you, does it?
No, Skillen in particular. He's long, he's lanky. The standard is 2 seconds from snap to kick. And with his long mechanics, Oklahoma State just snuffs that out. I mean, they took that right off his foot.
Yeah, and as we were timing, the Oklahoma State coaches were timing as well. So we're not surprised that they went after this.
First and goal for Oklahoma State. Cornelius close to the goal line, down to the 1.
Mike Gundy is running him to give him more confidence, get him settled. He seems to like it. He likes the contact.
And now they're bringing in the big boys, the Cowboy backs. The fullback tight end hybrids are out there. Britton Abbott, Sione Fine Feyuiaki.
Over there, you got a 6'7" tight end.
Hill. Good penetration. Will Hefner. And now 3rd down and goal.
Now you bring in Woods, number 89, 6'7", 250. You bring in Carter, 6'4", 245. Well, your quarterback, 6'6", has been running well.
Cornelius gives Oklahoma State the lead. Third career rushing touchdown for Taylor Cornelius. This one a big one. Taking advantage of the special teams magic. The Cowboys, one of the best kick blocking teams in all of college football. 22 since 2013. Amen Ogbong Bamiga, the Calgary, Alberta native with the block, and Taylor Cornelius. Rod called it. Big boys running well. Excellent atmosphere at Boone Pickens Stadium. Top 25 matchup, first meeting all time, major implications for the end of the season in this game. Thanks, AV. The Virginia team rocketed Boise State last year. Brett Rypien did not have a very good game against Virginia. That was all part of a 2-2 start for Rypien and Brian Harsin and this Boise State team. Since then, 11 of the last 12 have been wins for Boise State. Rypien on first down, back to the tight ends. Chase Blakely with a good game.
The problem for Boise State right now, they have no rushing attack. 13 carries for 19 yards. That puts a lot more pressure on Rypien. They want to pound teams, and then they want to throw the ball. But Madison has not been a factor so far in this ball game for them.
Off the play fake, back to a tight end. John Bates with a big catch and run. Just had his first career touchdown last week.
Yeah, he just fakes a little block on the right side, and then you'll see him just kind of head on out to the flat there. Easily done. Again, they're using tight end, short passing attack, no rushing attack yet for Boise State.
And now they've emptied it out here. Nothing there for Rypien. So he'll take off. And he scrambles for 8 yards.
You surprised at Boise State's inability to run the football?
I am. Although we knew that this game would have a lot to do with what happens in the trenches. Both coaches, both coaching staffs talked about it. Whoever can win up front is going to have a good shot to win this game. Rypien off target, looking for monster. Good coverage out there by Jarrett Bernard.
Yeah, we're seeing Oklahoma State dial up the pressure at key moments. That second down, and maybe this third down. Remember, they seem to be gaining confidence in their pressure packages, although they did give up in one-on-one coverage a long touchdown pass to John Hightower.
Pocket collapsing on Rypien, and Brailford wraps him up.
Yeah, good pressure and confusion. Boise State always thinking about number 1 out there, Bundage, but Bundage didn't come this time. It was a little bit of a surprise to them. Bundage dropped off into coverage, and the pressure came from the other side. They did not handle it well. That is the 4th tackle for loss for Oklahoma State.
Again, this part of the field, they're not going to lean on Hayden Hogarth, who already missed a 26-yarder today. 4th down and 6 for Boise State. More pressure on Rypien. Finds Madison. And he will not make it. Justin Phillips made the first down saving tackle. Cornelius launches for Wallace. Johnson, rather. What a catch by Tyron Johnson.
What a job by Cornelius to give his receiver a chance to get that ball out. You've got Johnson working against Walker, who is in for Horton in this ball game. And what a catch.
35 yards there. Incomplete, going right back to Johnson with Walker defending.
Yeah, and that's a matchup that I think Oklahoma State was slow to recognize, that you've got a second string corner in playing for Horton, who was their best corner.
Right.
Walker had one start prior to this ball game, and you're talking about Johnson, the transfer from LSU, with great speed and a great vertical jump.
There's that matchup again. Cornelius on the run. He's got Larry Williams blocking for him. And how about Taylor Cornelius with the first down to the 24-yard line?
What a surprise. I mean, he's become the running game for Oklahoma State. Quarterback draw. They've gone from simply trying to get him to throw passes to designed runs for him. Zone read and quarterback draw.
Cornelius to the end zone. And it's incomplete. That time looking for Wallace. Avery Williams, their Mountain West Conference second teamer, in coverage. You have to appreciate Mike Gundy's willingness to adjust.
Yeah.
That's something we saw with Mason Rudolph. He didn't really have to. He was the quarterback for 3 years, a starter for 3 straight seasons. Now he's got to make some adjustments with a new QB.
Well, he kept telling us yesterday that he really believed that his quarterback ran better than people gave him credit for.
Another designed run here for Cornelius. All the way inside the 15 of Boise State. 6'6", 230 pounds getting it done.
This is his adjustment. They've not been able to get enough out of the rushing attack, handing the ball to Justice Hill. So he's changed it up and gone to quarterback runs, which is bizarre when you think about Oklahoma State offense.
The receivers, the running game.
They've had the air raid system here for so long. You just don't get much quarterback run.
This is a handoff to J.D. King.
So when you go to the quarterback run game, you give yourself an extra blocker to balance things up. So when the turn around and hand it off to the running back isn't working, Gundy is thinking, well, if I let my quarterback run, I'll get one more blocker. We'll see what happens with that. And it's worked out just perfectly for him so far in this first half.
And Rod, it's not on tape from their games against Missouri State or South Alabama. So this is new territory for Andy Avalos and this Boise defense.
Correct.
Cornelius keeps. And Taylor Cornelius right near the sticks.
So you know what happens when you get to halftime? You put up on the board the plays defensively that are hurting you the most. Boise State never expected it would be quarterback run, quarterback run.
Third down and short. Cornelius on the handoff to Chuba Hubbard. Great penetration by David Moa there. And that brings up fourth down.
Decision time.
Looks like the field goal unit is going to come out for Oklahoma State. They'll try to go up 2 scores. Matt Amendola, 3 for 3 thus far. The Philadelphia native, who's been rock solid since a rocky start last season. $15 in a row since last October. Oklahoma State will get the ball to start the second half. First meeting all time with Boise State, a high leverage top 25 game, and the Cowboys are on top 17-7. Joey, Jesse, Adnan, it's all yours in the studio for the halftime report. A 17-7 Oklahoma State lead at the half in this top 25 matchup. Oak State ball to start the second. Adam Amin, Rod Gilmore, Quint Kesnick. Impressive stuff on both sides of the ball from Oklahoma State.
Absolutely stunning the way they've played on defense. I mean, the way that they've pressured Rypien and that offensive line has just been incredible. They really dialed it up after the first couple of series. And then who knew Oklahoma State had a running quarterback? Who thought that Mike Gundy would ever decide to go away from the passing game and say, I am a quarterback design run guru? That's the biggest surprise of the first half.
Out to the 25-yard line will come Oklahoma State. This is what you were talking about, Rod. They really got after Brent Rypien.
You know, the first couple of series, they played soft, rush 3, and then after that, they said enough of that. They started bringing 4. They brought 5. That offensive line could not handle the speed and quickness of guys on the edge, Bundage, or anyone else. They had a tough time identifying blitzers, and even with the 4-man pressure, they couldn't handle that. And then offensively, this is the guy we're talking about. I look at today's PlayStation Player Index. Taylor Cornelius. He rushed the ball for 47 yards.
And he's on the move again, and he'll complete it to Tylan Wallace. Just like that, Oklahoma State out near midfield. Taylor Cornelius, just his 3rd career start. They've all come in the last 3 weeks. Prior to that, he had not started a game since his final high school game in 2013 in Bushland, Texas. He's got time, and he's got a man, and it's overthrown for Wallace. Q.
Tell you, Cornelius is excited. He's putting so much in each play. I spoke to Boise coach Brian Harsin, and he gave me a list of 3 things, guys. Number 1, offensive line. They're not playing fast. They're not communicating. They're getting beat. Second, special teams. The block punt was a 10-point swing. And the third is the run of Cornelius. They have to tackle the big quarterback. That's new. That was unexpected. Let's see what adjustments they can make.
Absolutely right. That's been the curveball that they had no reason to expect, and Oklahoma State pulled it out.
Cornelius over the top of the defense, and he's able to find Jalen McCleskey for his first catch of the day down to the 32.
Only about 5'10", but he gets up and makes that grab, and that right foot is inbounds. Matter of fact, that left foot is inbounds when he had it.
Rod, I'm in line with that pass, and what a strike that was, right between 2 Boise defenders. I mean, he put that right in the spot.
This time, pressure from Sam Whitney forces Cornelius to throw it away.
Q, I think we have to say that Cornelius is handling the pressure okay. Remember, this is a guy who was not heavily recruited. He's a guy that walked on because his head coach called an assistant coach at Oklahoma State and basically asked for a favor to allow him to walk on.
There's King on the move.
Adam, 4 years. Taylor Cornelius, who's nicknamed Corn Dog by his head coach Mike Gundy, spent on the sidelines. I mean, he has waited for 4 years for this moment.
Looking. End zone. Stoner. He grabbed it, but it's incomplete, out of bounds.
And a good no call by the official. There was some hand fighting between both players going down the field. And there's no flag. That's Walker they're working on. Now remember, Walker is starting because Tyler Horton, their best corner, is out with a twisted knee or so. And that was a catch, but out of bounds.
Matt Amendola out there for what would be a 48-yard attempt. He's already made from 22 today, trying to extend the Oklahoma State lead. Matt Amendola with 16 straight made field goals going back to last year. Meanwhile, our guy Herm Edwards out west, he's doing pretty well in Arizona State. upset win over Michigan State last year.
This is a big game for Boise State. We're talking about being in the driver's seat, having a smooth pass to a New Year's Six game.
Rypien had time, and he finds Khalil Shakir.
Don't question how tough Rypien is. He's been knocked around the entire first half, and he's going to get hit again by Phillips coming in here. Stands in there, takes the hit, and finds the freshman out there. Knows it's coming.
The senior out of Spokane, Washington. Has already thrown the ball 26 times today. Rypien underneath to Blakely, knocked down by Phillips.
Bullett's a big star around here. 21-year-old quarter horse, has been doing it for 14 years. Pre-game, he runs between the band from end to end, and he can move. And then after each touchdown that the Cowboys score, he does a little circle on the left side of the field. He also makes pre-game appearances, and he's a star on social media as well.
And there's a whole entourage surrounding Bullitt. Got a bigger crew than Rod and Q do. There's Madison. This is one of the better runs of the day, I think, from Boise State.
Yeah, and all because of Madison's vision. That play was designed to go to the right. He felt and saw the hold to the left. You see him jump back to that left side and then finishes the run. This is a 3rd and short now. One of the few times that Boise State has been in this situation.
Straight up the gut on the sneak. Boise State was averaging less than 2 yards per carry in this game. They pick up enough for the first down with Rypien.
And this is the area where you start to see Oklahoma State really think about bringing more pressure.
Okay.
Right from here on in, you're going to see more pressure, I think, from Oklahoma State.
You know, typically this is high red zone, let's say. This is a trick play area of the field for Boise historically, but down right now by the score, I don't see it.
Here comes the heat from Oklahoma State. Rypien was hit as he throws. What a catch! A.J. Richardson!
Oh,
what a catch! Get your highlight reels ready for that grab. My goodness.
One-handed, inbounds, left foot, right foot, end zone.
Come on!
Oh, wow. Wow. Now that might be your catch of the day.
Wow. Absolutely incredible. He did that last week, too. He had a one-handed catch on a screen pass, which ended up in a 74-yard catch and run.
Partner,
that one was better.
That is way better
That
than
was
a screen
way
pass.
better than last week.
Staying in bounds, grabbing it with one hand, and fending off the defensive back at the same time.
That was incredible. A jaw-dropping, sensational play by the senior from California.
Now you get pressure from Oklahoma State, which results in the man-to-man coverage, but nothing is better than that. A one-handed catch by Richardson.
Welcome back to Dr. Pepper's Championship Drive Game of the Week. And Boise State's A.J. Richardson with a highlight reel touchdown.
Well, we're all impressed, but he's not. I mean, just watch the way he's like, matter of fact, I do this every day. No celebration, no teammates. It's like, man, I get this every single day. It's no big deal.
Like I said, he did it last week, although not in that spectacular a fashion. Chuba Hubbard, the speedster, on the return. And finally, the Broncos will get him corralled across the 30-yard line. Bruno DeRose on the stop. Still on his feet. Telling Stoner to move ahead, and he finds him. Right in front of Benton Wickersham. Very close to the sticks.
He's directing traffic now. I mean, that's how much he's grown from the very first series. He is now telling receivers where to go so he can throw the ball.
Number This is only career start number 3 and only career game number 10. J.D. King brought down, but he has enough to move the chains.
Well, the other thing is that since he's 6'6" and 230, when you go in to get him, you got to bring something because he's been shaking off tacklers in the pocket.
Nothing downfield. Stays on his feet. Takes a shot. Incomplete. Looking for McCleskey.
Well, and that's exactly what we were talking about. Now, he may be marked. I don't know if he fully avoided going down here. Let's see what happens. He just gets out of that one.
I think the elbow went down, Rod.
That's the right elbow down. Yeah, they should mark him down there.
Yeah, that should be a loss. Durant Miles should get credit for that tackle for loss. Cornelius has kind of that all-American boy feel. His girlfriend is a senior captain on the Palm squad here at Oklahoma State. The big Texan.
That's
his
a
third career start.
Tough matchup on the bottom there.
Yep.
Very tough matchup.
But Walker in a difficult spot. Right over the middle. Quick strike to Stoner. And a lot of space. And Dylan Stoner to the end zone.
Just man-to-man coverage, a shallow cross. Everybody gets run off because everybody else is playing man coverage. Now, does he get inside? Yes, he does.
First touchdown of the season for the redshirt sophomore from Tulsa, Oklahoma. Oklahoma State extends the lead. It's 13. Thomas Boone Pickens Jr. Where's the T in the stadium? It's my first trip here. I thought it was T. Boone Pickens Stadium.
Well, we were told that folks in these parts don't use the T. They call him Boone Pickens. And
although someone else may also slipped in, most of us just call him Mr.
Yeah,
Pickens.
his good friends. His good friends call him Mr. Pickens.
It's been open since 1920. It was known as Lewis Field, renamed Boone Pickens Stadium in 2003. Boise State down 13. Right back to the running game with Madison, and the penetration from Brailford is there.
That is great execution, poor adjustment by Boise State. Brailford stands in the middle, and then he just figures out where the blocking is, and you see the left guard had no chance of picking him up there, and the center, Larson, they also just did not adjust to seeing him. He moved so late that they had already made their situations committed for blocking. 7 tackles for loss for Oklahoma State.
A quick screen with pressure coming right away, and incomplete for Madison. Guess who was in the backfield again? Jordan Brailford.
Yeah, they have not handled the pressure well at all. And Oklahoma State recognizes they can keep dialing it up. They've been hurt by the deep ball, but only when that pressure has been picked up.
Snap to kick here, 2 seconds. Snap to kick, 2 seconds.
Already a block today for Oklahoma State. And another one! Bernard with the block! And the scoop and score for Oklahoma State! Zacharias Green with the touchdown off the Bernard block.
Wow. Hard to believe that Oklahoma State could get a second one. We talked about the issue with the timing. They were taking too long in pregame warmup. They took too long the first time they were blocked. And this time the freshman Bernard gets in and gets the block, and Green picks it up and gets the touchdown.
And Q, you were right on top of it. Both of you guys saw in pregame that Boise State was taking a while to get the punts off. You want sub 2 seconds when you're getting punts off. They've been above 2 seconds.
Q, how could they not adjust at halftime? How could they not pick this up?
Well, if your personnel is slow, if the ball's not getting back there fast enough, there's only so many ways you can protect it. But
and Q, they've done it to both punters today, too. They did it to the lefty and now the righty.
That looked like a complete breakdown of the protection.
Well, we were stunned pregame. We kept double-checking our watches, our stopwatches, because that can't be right. They can't be that slow with their punt. And as we did it over and over, they were consistently slow. And we kept looking over at the Oklahoma State coaches, who were also timing, but they were more discreet in their reaction.
Right.
They were like, well, let's play it cool. We got something here.
Yeah, so you see GAs and assistant special teams coaches walk around with stopwatches, and they're clicking every snap and every kick. Punts, got to get the ball off the foot 2 seconds or less. Field goals somewhere in the 1.25 second range or 1.3 second range to ensure that there's no blocks.
Yeah,
and they're logging every snap and every kick during warmups.
And Q, these were well over 2 second pregame. They were 2-3, 2-4.
The Oklahoma State special teams unit has cashed in a couple of times. Rypien doing a nice job adjusting, and he finds Monster. Bundage makes the stop out near midfield. Second down coming up. Rod, I want to go back to a point that you've been making sure to hit on. This is an important game for Boise State. Nobody else in the group of 5 really has a monster out of conference game. Now the American's good. UCF's good. South Florida was struggling a little bit today against Illinois, but they're good. I think Houston's really good. They're playing Texas Tech today. Incomplete there, looking for monster. But nobody's got this type of monster ranked on the road matchup. This is an important game for Boise State to put themselves in the driver's seat for a potential New Year's 6 spot.
Yeah, and you take a look at the most likely members of the group of 5 to get to that New Year's 6 game, and without a major non-conference win, it's going to be a dogfight among these 4. Boise State with a great opportunity today, but right now struggling to get a hold of this game.
By the way, Houston tied with Texas Tech.
Yep,
28 up.
There you go.
3rd down and 6. Another exotic look on the blitz. This time Rypien's protected, and he's got Monster inside the 30-yard line.
Yeah, they picked up the pressure this time, an odd blitz, but this time you got your running back in the backfield to help pick up the blitz, and you'll see 34 Mahone come over, and that helps. And plenty of time to get Monster in the middle of the field.
Rypien to Monster again. 1st and goal for Boise State.
See what a difference it makes when you can protect the quarterback. Rypien has a bit more time. The middle of the field is wide open, and there he is.
Back-to-back 23-yard catches for Sean Monster. A guy who had a very slow start to his career at Boise State has been really good going back about a calendar year. Rypien's going to keep it here, and he gets hit hard. Kenneth Edison Magruder was right there. 2nd down and goal coming up.
At some point, with the rushing attack sort of failing Boise State here, what's the pass that works down here? Do you try and rub off a defender? Do you use your tight end? And I think they're more inclined to use tight ends down here.
Do you like the crossing routes here in this tight of an area, or no?
I don't think they have time for a crossing route. It's more likely a rub.
And move the pocket. Rypien floats it. 3rd and goal coming up.
Yeah, they just can't. They can't hold off the pressure when Oklahoma State is committed to. When they bring 4, 5, it speeds up everything. I don't think they have the time down here, so it's more likely going to be a fade or your tight end getting something quick for you, because they just don't have enough time to wait on a crossing route or anything else that takes a little time.
Pressure on Rypien. Incomplete. Looking for Monster.
Yeah. No time. You just don't have the time for that. The pressure's too much.
Enoch Smith got into the backfield, forced Rypien to rush that throw. Boise State has already gone for it multiple times on 4th down today, and down by 20 here. They're going to go for the end zone. 4th down and goal for Boise State. Rypien fires to Blakely for the touchdown. Stood in the pocket and delivered.
We talked about the tight ends down here. Bigger target, smaller room. But Rypien taking his time, stepping up in the pocket, something he hasn't done or been able to most of the day. When he stepped up before, he didn't have any room. This time he steps up and finds his really big target, 6'4" Blakely. And you see Harsin pumping the fist. They're alive.
Blakely didn't have a catch in the first 2 games of the season. He had only 3 career catches. He's got 6 today, including that touchdown. 90 seconds for the 3rd. Touchback to the 25. McCleskey out on the perimeter.
I just don't know how TCU blocks that Ohio State defensive front. Joey Bosa and company. That's
Nick Bosa. Yep.
Yeah, that Nick Bosa. That's a crazy defensive line. That's hard to deal with.
How good are they in comparison to a team like Clemson that we always talk about with their D-line?
You know, you pick the one, I'll take the other.
Sure,
I'll
that's what you have to go with. There's Justice Hill on the move. Spinning through tacklers, and he's out across the 40-yard line.
Not much of a hole, but, you know, that's just that inside zone. He knows he's got a cutback lane in that gap between the guard and the tackle, and he finds it right away.
Quick strike on the slant, and Johnson could not hold on. He was wide open in space.
You know, one thing about leads like this in a ball game, they're not quite safe because of the style of play. Now everybody goes up tempo.
More possessions.
It used to be back in the day, you know, you down by 2 scores, 3 scores, the clock would kill you. Not today with this up tempo.
Outside, good catch by Wallace. And somehow he gets the first down across midfield.
A lot of room out there. Defensive backs for Boise State are playing way off. Easy pitch and catch for Cornelius.
And a hole for Justice King. Another big gainer out to the 36-yard line.
You know, Justice King was not heavily recruited. He's turned himself into an NFL prospect. But his brother, Dax, is being recruited by everybody.
Another strike to McCleskey. McCleskey, Johnson, Stoner, Wallace. They've got Hill and King and Hubbard in the backfield. There's a lot of weapons from Oklahoma State.
Yeah. Justice Hill is a phenomenal back, and I don't believe he's going to be back for his senior year next year.
You think he's going to the NFL?
Yeah, I believe so.
Getting ready for quarter number 4. We had a scoreless first quarter. We've seen 55 points in the last 30 minutes. We might be in for a fun 4th. Come on back to Stillwater. Welcome back to ESPN College Football, presented by PlayStation 4. Second down and 5 for Oklahoma State to start the 4th quarter. A lot of points in the last 2 frames. Design run Cornelius. Brought down by Whitney. Third down coming up.
That run has not worked since the first half. Halftime adjustment doing a good job of taking that away, and they hurry up again here. They might be in 2-down territory also.
Cornelius outside. First down, Wallace. They went after Avery Williams that time, and Wallace picks up a dozen. For Mike Gundy, this is only the second-ranked non-conference opponent that has come to Stillwater. You got to go back to 2009, the last time they saw a non-conference foe with a number next to their name. That was Georgia in 09. Reverse. Stoner, he's going to pass it to Cornelius, and he gets shut down by Tyreek Jones. He's got a little interesting there.
Everybody has to have a trick play when they play Boise State. If you were around in the first quarter, you saw that Boise State's trick play did not work. They abandoned it, and it took Gundy until the fourth, but he had one up his sleeve too.
Everybody wants to throw the quarterback now. Brady and Foles in the Super Bowl, everybody wants to do it now. Might have to ask Mike what he calls that. You got Philly, maybe that's Stilly. That's my guess.
I see what you did there.
I'm not proud of it. Justice Hill staying on his feet, getting close to the first down marker. We'll pick up 8 there, and it's 1st and goal.
Man, he makes guys miss, doesn't he?
His jump cut, Rod, is vicious. When he puts his foot in the ground, he finds the gaps, he sets up blocks, and then you try to tackle him, poof, he's gone. He just plants and moves sideways.
No chance. One-on-one tackle with him is almost impossible. He's about 6.3 yards per rush today.
Design run. Cornelius got tripped up by Pierce, shy of the goal line. 2nd down and goal.
Yeah, quarterback power. They just pull the offside lineman, get him in front of him, and you got yourself a little mini convoy there with a big old quarterback coming in after him. And how about Cornelius? I mean, we said at the beginning of the ball game, Boise State would be happy if he ran it 15 times. Well, he's made a mockery of that. He's run it. Cornelius has run it all these times and got himself gone.
We'll go to Hill, and he gets stacked up. Chase Hatada with the penetration there.
Tell you, Cornelius is beat up, hobbling, bleeding, his left elbow. You see the blood on his pants.
Yeah.
He has put a ton into this game emotionally. You know, this is a game he's been pointing for all summer. Earned the starting spot after 4 years as a backup.
Well, he may take some more punishment here, because it wouldn't surprise me on this 3rd down if he's actually running it again. Oh, no. Wildcat.
Justice Hill. Trying to find the seam, and just shy again. Sonatane Louis was holding on for dear life.
So do you need that, though? I mean, after the way you run the football, I mean, your quarterback, he may be banged up, but he's been killing folks, and when you hand it off to him, he gets it. So maybe you outsmart yourself a little bit. Wildcat, we haven't seen the entire day.
Guys, for Amendola right here is when he looks up at the goalpost is the giant video monitor.
He sees himself.
Yeah, no, exactly.
Yeah.
Matt Stover, the Ravens, told me his first kick as a Raven. He looked up, he saw himself, and he asked the VP of in-house production to change it. He said, never show me when I'm getting ready to take a kick.
Well, that big board does not rival the one at AT&T Stadium that you're going to see for TCU and Oklahoma State tonight, but that's still pretty good. How about that? 56 by 110. AV, perfect segue into our All-State College football rankings. You'll see number 1 in just a little bit, and you'll see number 4 over on ABC tonight. Some tight ones, though, in the top 10. Some teams got tested today.
Oklahoma got a real test from Iowa State.
Notre Dame had a tight win against Vanderbilt earlier today. I think Washington-Utah is going to be a fun one, with Washington going on the road on ESPN tonight. Brian Harsin has been part of a lot of these as an assistant and now a head coach, has said these are the games that put Boise State on the map.
He played clips to his team last night and told them to be ready to seize the moment, as Boise teams in the past have, but they've got an uphill battle right now.
If they're going to seize it, it's got to be now. A 3-and-out by Oklahoma State. And Rypien looking outside for Butler. Could not get him. Good coverage by Green.
Yeah, that 3-and-out by Oklahoma State burned off 98 seconds.
That's it.
It should have been a 3-minute possession for them, even if they didn't get a first down.
That was their first 3-and-out since the opening series of the game. Madison, short gain. 3rd down coming up here. Huge 3rd down and 7 for Boise State to try to stay in this game. Rypien gets swallowed up. Bundage and Harper.
He had nowhere to go with the football. Coverage, sack, and Harper sitting there as a spy in the middle, waiting for him to step up. Watch him step up away from the pressure. There you see 16 Harper right there waiting. But the coverage down the field was really good. And how about the 5th sack of the game? The 8th tackle for loss for the Cowboys.
Stoner, fair catch, 28-yard line.
You love that name.
I feel like a lot of people really enjoy that name for various reasons. 7 minutes to play. Welcome back to Dr. Pepper's Championship Drive game of the week. This game with some playoff and New Year's 6 implications early on in the season. Oklahoma State with a stop, up by 2 full scores. And Justice Hill. Foot race. Justice Hill, there's your closer. What a score.
Adam, it begins right at the point of attack with a great double team, and we've talked about this ability to make the guy in the middle miss when you got one guy on you. And how about get off me? Get off me, Mr. Walker. You cannot hang with me. Get off me. What? What a run by Justice Hill.
It was a 72-yarder. It did look like perhaps that he may have stepped out of bounds. So they're going to take a look at this play.
All I know is that he made Pierce
step out of bounds
miss him.
A touchdown. The previous play is under further review.
He made Pierce miss him. And that looks like he stepped out right there.
19-yard line or so.
Yeah. But he made Pierce miss him in the middle of the field, turned on the Jets, and then told Mr. Walker, who was in for Tyler Horton, you can't hang.
Yeah.
You cannot get to this.
Yeah.
After review, the runner's left foot stepped out of bounds at the 19-yard line. It's going to be a first and 10 at the 19. Will the game clock operator please put 6 minutes, 44 seconds on the game clock? 6:44. Thank you.
I'm not surprised by the strength. I know you're a fan of Twitter. We're always kind of jumping around looking for stuff. You go to Justice Hill's Twitter and Oklahoma State's Twitter from a year ago.
Yep.
There was a viral video of this guy squatting 565 pounds.
Yeah.
This guy is a beast, and it doesn't necessarily hit you just looking at him on TV, but this dude can run.
Well, we knew he could run through tackles, but that bench press right there, man.
He's getting a breather as J.D. King checks in. And King slipping some tackles as well. Q, you said something to me in the break I think was very apt. You said, remember what Mike Gundy told us about. Remember last week at halftime against South Alabama? He actually told the radio announcer, Robert Allen of the Cowboy Network, he said, we can't block anybody. We can't run the ball. There was a lot of criticism of his offensive line over the course of this week. And the running game, when they've needed it to, has been very impressive.
They've redeemed themselves today.
We need to be able to run it when they know we're going to run it.
Right.
He was highly critical of his offensive line. We've got to block the 5 or 6 in the box. Just get bodies on them and give Justice a chance where he's not making cuts in the backfield. He's getting some momentum to the line of scrimmage. We've seen that in the second half today where he gets through that initial hole and then look out with that jump cut.
Well, Justice and J.D. King, they have both made guys miss, whether it's in the backfield or in the middle of the field. And Hill is now back out there with 3rd and 1. If it's me, he's getting the football.
Oh, Cornelius with the keep. He's got the first down as he takes quite the hit. Pierce wrapped him up low.
That ice bath is going to feel pretty good to Cornelius tomorrow. Oh, you make it one tonight.
Yeah, he's got that black tape on his left elbow area. Remember, Q pointed out there was a lot of blood in that area. He's got some on his jersey, a little bit on his pants. This kid's tough. He waited a long time. 4 years, one of those a redshirt year, behind Mason Rudolph. Former walk-on who was just placed on scholarship last fall camp after biding his time. Cornelius with the push from the line. Since 2013, the Bush push, as it's now known, with that Reggie Bush play, is legal, and Tevin Jenkins finished this one off.
All 310 pounds of him, number 73, pushing Cornelius into the end zone. And I have to tell you, I've not seen an Oklahoma State team this physical in quite a while. I mean, from the way their defense got after the Broncos to the way this offensive line has attacked that front 7.
This was the first real test for this Oklahoma State team, for both of these teams. This has been an impressive second half from Oklahoma State. And it's been led by that man. 3rd career start for Taylor Cornelius. Smile on his face. ESPN College Football presented by PlayStation 4. Man, that's the upset I think a lot of people were waiting to see in college football. It's pumped up today.
Well, we were talking about, we had gone a couple of weeks without one.
I mentioned it's extra yard for teachers time here on ESPN. Mike Gundy talked about that, specifically about his wife.
My wife's a school teacher. She was a 5th grade school teacher. When we started having children, she hasn't gone back to teaching, but a funny story is when we were first married, before we had kids, I would come home from work at 9:30 or 10 being a coach, and she would be sitting in the living room with all the papers spread out, and she would be grading papers. And until then, I thought teachers went to work at 8 and got home at 3:30, and that was it. I didn't know that all the money and the time and effort they put in to developing our children. So I learned to have a lot more respect for teachers.
Great stuff from Mike Gundy. We'll share something about him in a moment. There was a flag, by the way, on that procedure penalty, so Boise State has it at its own 35. Quick strike to Thomas. You know, obviously here in the state of Oklahoma back in April, there was a walkout by several teachers around the state protesting low pay, overcrowded classrooms, tax cuts, resulting in a lot of lower statewide education spending before the OEA finally agreed to salary increases and more for state funding of education. During that period, Mike Gundy, who's a father of 2 public school students, he said, I'm in full support of the teachers who are protesting. I'm 100% behind those educators. I don't pretend to know all the ins and outs of it, but I'm invested in the situation. And I've always felt that the educators in this state are way overworked and way underpaid. Oklahoma is one of the states in this country that has the lowest teacher salary among about 3 or 4 states.
Well, and Mike Gundy is much more comfortable now being outspoken about these things. You know, he told us he's got a better relationship with T-Boone Pickens. They had issues year after year. He's got a new contract. He says he's a Cowboy for life. He's committed to this community, and you see it in the educational area.
Thomas underneath. Lost the football, but I believe he's ruled down. Down at the 44-yard line. Approaching 3 minutes to play. Good on Mike Gundy. This community has really backed him. These are two of the better programs in college football. I don't think people who are a little bit more casually watching college football really understand how good these two programs are. Rypien has the first down. Butler takes the shoulder from Green, but hangs on. 19 on the play. Incomplete, looking for Madison. Closing in on 2 minutes to play here in Stillwater. We'll take you from here down to Oxford, Mississippi. College football prime time. #1 Alabama squaring off with Ole Miss. 7:08 kickoff Eastern time on ESPN and the ESPN app. Sean McDonough, Todd Blackledge, Holly Rowe will be along shortly. Great quarterback matchup in that one. The Hawaiians, Jordan Ta'amu of Ole Miss and Tua Tagovailoa for Alabama.
Yeah, points will be scored, as we've had here today. And, you know, you think about Oklahoma State and what this win means. Let's not forget, they're in position now to have a tremendous September and a great October. They could be undefeated for a number of weeks.
Boise State and Oklahoma State, for the rest of their schedules, are an FPI, Football Power Index favorite in every single game between the two, except for one. When Oklahoma State, in November, has to go on the road to Norman to play Oklahoma. That's the only game they're not favored in. Rypien, end zone, incomplete for Richardson.
I mean, it's hard to look at their schedule and not think that Oklahoma State will be undefeated when they get to November. Now, when they face Oklahoma, West Virginia, and TCU back to back to back, they should cruise through September and October, and they ought to go up in the rankings.
That's the hope in Stillwater, certainly. That's what everybody looked at when they saw the schedule. What a hit by Justin Phillips on C.T. Thomas. Third down.
The one thing that they've got to get a little bit better with, the Cowboys, the passing attack gave them some big plays, but it was not consistent today. They found a quarterback that can run a little bit, but he took a lot of punishment today, too. Not a great recipe.
Too tall for Shakir. Pressure by Bundage. Bye week for Boise State coming up. Then they'll open up Mountain West play in 2 weeks on the road at Wyoming. Meanwhile, next week, it's Texas Tech coming into Stillwater. That's the other thing. Oklahoma State hasn't had to leave home. Why would you want to?
Yeah.
Great atmosphere here today in Stillwater. Bundage was offsides, but it'll be first down for Thomas. They'll just take that game.
Don't be surprised if Boise State goes on a run. Remains undefeated the rest of the way.
Offside, #1, defense. That penalty is declined. Results of the play is a first down. The play clock and game clock will start on my signal. Snap.
They have to go to Wyoming in 2 weeks. That's a tough game, but they get San Diego State at home, and they get Fresno State at home this year. All kinds of time for Rypien, who loses the football. Excellent coverage downfield by Oklahoma State. Devin Harper had the pressure on Rypien.
Well, two things. You can't hold it that long. And then it didn't look like his arm was going forward. If his hand's going forward, then it's an incomplete pass.
But did he have possession
No,
of
he
the
didn't
ball
have
when
possession.
the ball was going forward?
Yeah, it looked like that ball came out before any forward movement of his hand. Watch. Ball's out, and now the hand goes forward. That's a fumble.
Devin Harper all over him.
7 sacks. You kidding me? 7 sacks.
This was a 10-point lead at halftime for Oklahoma State. They outscored Boise State 27-14 in the second half. And Oklahoma State, in one of the 3 ranked matchups of the day in week 3 in college football, has a signature Stillwater victory over Boise State. First meeting between Oklahoma State and Boise State. Taylor Cornelius and the Cowboys are victorious. Let's go down to Quinn Kesnick.
Coach, what happened on the 2 block punts?
Well, we got, our special teams guys, MK and Cashmore, had a really nice plan, and we felt good about it. Players executed it. I think one of our block punts was a freshman, and the other one was 11, who's a sophomore. So they worked hard on it all week, and it worked for us. It was definitely the difference in the game.
How do you best describe the play of your quarterback, Taylor Cornelius, a.k.a. Corn Dog?
Yeah, Corn Dog showed up today, and was really proud of the way he handled himself. We took care of the football, finally started rushing the ball a little better in the second half, but our defense played great. This is a really, really good offensive team, and I think we held them to less than about 50 yards rushing, and that was the difference in the game. Being able to stop their rushing attack and then the special teams.
Congratulations. Thanks, Coach.
Yeah,
Adam.
Q, Mike Gundy's team held Boise State to 31 rushing yards today. All part of a 44-21 Oklahoma State win. For Rod Gilmore and Quinn Kesnick, Adam Amin saying so long. Alabama and Ole Miss are coming up. But for now, Adnan Burke and the boys.